Welcome to a very special family-oriented episode of B&B Podcast, henceforth referred to as Bone and Son Podcast. I'm here with the man the man himself, the myth, the legend, Alan Bone. We just watched Russia. It's the 1st of July. We just watched Russia barely squeeze victory out during the World Cup from Spain. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hey, this is Dad, better known as Alan Bone, and I'm here with Alex Bone, middle son, number 2. Don't tell anybody, my favorite one. Griffin and Ethan, you guys are favorites too. So I'm glad to be here. Glad I got invited. Thanks.
Okay. Some of my fans approached him on the street and asked when he's going to do an episode. So the topic today is time. Right, Dad? Go,
that's right.
You elaborate. This is your moment.
Time. It just sort of catches you. But also, what we're talking about with time is some of the technologies that I had, or didn't have rather, that we have now, and that Alex is used to and doesn't even know any difference. So I'm going to tell you all about it here in a few minutes.
Yeah, we had a computer drone write out the script for this, so it's a lot easier now that we live in the future.
That's true.
But what's the first item here?
Like I said, we're just talking about some of the technologies, and first of all, it's computers. Believe it or not.
Computer. I mean, I use them every day.
Yeah, we didn't even have a computer. My first computer looked like a big giant briefcase, and it had a black screen and little green letters on it.
Well, wait, was that what was
compact?
it?
Compact with a Q, portable.
I've never heard of that in my life.
Portable. It was bigger than a briefcase. Actually, it was like 3 briefcases, and
that wasn't portable, though.
You had a disk operating system, 5 1/4 discs, and it was
that was cutting edge. You were telling me in the car, because
yeah.
We've had this conversation like 5 times. We like to do that.
But yeah, before that, you just wrote it down on paper, or somebody just happened to remember a bunch of stuff.
Sounds disgusting. Paper? I don't even touch that anymore.
So there was this long list of people that my dad did business with, and he just knew everybody, and I was working with him, and I said, I need to have a list of who we're doing business with, and next thing you know, we got this little computer, and I'm having to enter all these people and addresses and phone numbers, and it was really cool and great when we first got it. And then about a year into it, I told Dad about this new thing that was called you could increase the not the memory but the hard. We could get a hard drive on it instead of keeping everything on these big floppies, and we bought a 20 megabyte hard drive. 20 megabyte hard drive.
Dang.
Now I think we've got...
How many lines of text is that?
I don't know.
10? That's nuts.
Know. So anyway, it was just neat to have that computer.
I'm surprised he sprung for it, though, because when I was working on Mimi's lawn yesterday, she said, we were talking about the same thing, and she was saying that he was super skeptical about doing business online. He thought it was impossible to run a business, and he thought you could only do it in person.
Well, we weren't online. We were not even online. They didn't have the internet back in the mid-'80s. This was just a computer where you could store stuff and then print it out.
I'm guessing this was later, like 2000-something, 2000s.
Later on, online was a lot later. But before that, and I didn't put it on my outline, we bought a fax machine. I don't even know if a lot of you know what a fax machine is. But
yeah, you use it, and also a pager as well. You got to use that pager all the time, right?
That's true. I didn't really need a pager, but we had a fax machine where instead, today you just email things or text them or whatever. But back then, if you wanted to send somebody a letter or a document or whatever, you had to put it on this fax machine, and it was very expensive. And at the time when we bought it, it was very cool, but that didn't last very long.
Fax machines were cool for like a minute.
Yeah,
and they were never cool again. Yeah.
So anyway, computers were something that nobody had them. Nobody had them except big giant companies. So it was kind of cool to get that.
I remember the giant. I remember we had the big chunky computers from elementary school in the computer lab, and then I remember the upgrade to like the Dell, a couple inches thick, was like a huge upgrade. I was like, wow. Yeah. It's like out of a spaceship or something.
Oh, yeah. And they were huge. They've gotten...
Nowadays, I'm like, if it's not 2,000 frames per second, I'm not impressed.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't even know, a lot of kids they just use their phone now.
It's weird.
You hardly even use it. I mean, gamers and stuff. But
you know what was weird? I was yesterday talking with Mimi. She said that kids aren't excited to be able to drive anymore.
Oh gosh.
Like you know, Ethan isn't. He's got his permit right now, and he hasn't really been driving that much. And Ansley, she finally got her license, and she thought that she was going to be super excited, but she's just kind of
Yeah.
And you know why? It's because the world is so much smaller now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure
agree.
for you it was like, okay, I can finally leave this house, right?
Oh yeah, it was a lot different back then. Everybody, you couldn't wait till that second you turned 16 to be able, or even 15 if you could learn how to drive. So yeah, it's just the world's gotten a lot smaller with things. But I wanted to say, along with the computer, I mean, you just had a typewriter. Does anybody know what a typewriter is anymore?
No, this is
or a word processor.
Big hipsters have it. I remember I saw this video where this guy is in a college classroom and he takes out his typewriter in a college classroom, modern day college classroom, and every time he clicks it, it's like a giant. It's like a giant. Yeah. It's like a dinosaur just stepped in the room. So, and then it finally went, ting, and then the professor stopped and was like, "Could you please leave?"
If you made a mistake, you had to have some whiteout, or if that was just a typewriter. So the computer was a big deal when it came out, and this was probably back in the early to mid '80s. So it hadn't been a billion years ago, but it changed the way people did business. And we weren't even online yet. This was just having a computer in your office or on your desk that you could use to enter lots of things.
What could you even do with that?
Well, you would enter a lot of information. You could print out reports. Okay. You could print out documents. You could print out, lists of people, lists like I was talking about earlier. And before, it was just somebody, you had to type it up on a typewriter, and and if you updated it, we had to put the page back in and then white out everything and then change it. But on a computer, you could go back in and change the whole thing and then just print that part out. So it worked out pretty good. But it's just funny talking about it now because nobody thinks about them anymore, and
Yeah, I remember. There was that Apple II in the lake house that we rented.
Mm-hmm. Oh, apples were too expensive for us, so we didn't get to play with the apples. We just played with the machines that use the MS-DOS system, which is Microsoft Disk Operating System. I know that's fascinating, but
you said you had to learn how to speak the directory's language, right?
You couldn't it was no point and click like Windows. And I didn't, when we changed computers over the years, and at the time when Windows came out, I didn't want anything to do with it. I didn't know I was going to stick with MS.
It'll never catch on.
It was like, who's going to use this? Well, anyway.
I messed around in class with some basic lines. I remember, so you know how you type in like /cd, the folder name and all that?
Yeah.
And I made a little fake out program in class once where if you open it up, you can make it so it writes text on a black screen. So like it pops up, and then I made it say like scan, like it scans your computer's files or something and contacts the FBI, and then it says like, please stay where you are or something. It used for fun.
I think it was what they called it was basic language. And that's what they called it, basic. Now they have different languages, but it was basic back then off that system. And you used it. You had to go to the command prompt and all that stuff. So it was just something completely different than you have now. But that was just probably one of the bigger things back then. And and then
go for it.
Then I guess the next thing just is everybody takes it for granted now, but the cell phone.
Oh, you had cell phones? Come on now.
Well, no. Back when I got out of school, they're huge. Yeah. You didn't have a cell phone. You had to find if you were in business or if you were, just out and about. You had to find a payphone or borrow somebody's phone or ask the people that if you were in a restaurant, can I borrow your phone?
Messenger pigeon.
It was crazy. And you take it for granted now, but back then there were no cell phones. We didn't have that technology. But then and I remember we got our first phone back in 1990. Yeah. And it was this big. It looked like a big pocketbook. You carried it this satchel on your shoulder, but you had to be very careful using it because it was very expensive to use. And all you could do on it was make phone calls. You pulled this big handset off, and it had this cord attached, and you do, and then and place the call. And you wanted to talk quick because it was like 40 cents a minute. It was
Did you ever actually use that though? I mean, come on.
I used it. You
niche.
could put in your car. It was called transportable, but you could unclip it in your car and do all this weird stuff. And anyway, that was the first one. And Alex and I were talking about something funny back then. People would have fake. You'd have this little antenna. It looked like it was a little antenna, and you'd put it in, and you'd use it if you had a cell phone. But people bought fake ones, and they'd have fake handsets in their car to appear to look cool on their, and they'd be acting like they're talking on their phone.
It's so cool.
They had a cell phone.
Yeah, and then but I kept asking like, what if somebody needs to make a call, like an emergency call?
Sorry,
someone call 911.
It's fake.
Quick, he's got a phone in his car. It's like this. I'm sorry,
it's fake. So sorry, I'm just trying.
I'm
to
a
look
fraud.
Cool. Yeah, but we really did have a phone, but it was you had to use it quick.
Did you ever use it though?
Yeah, no, I did.
Really
I used it when this was mainly business. You didn't use it just, hey, I'm going to call my girlfriend and say hello, or how are you, Mom? This is me. No, you didn't do that.
Well, we still don't call Mom on our cell phones.
That could be a $5 phone call. So back then it was kind of silly, but but it was very and it was like we're only going to use it a little bit, and of course now you don't even think about it. But that was a big old phone. And then I was telling Alex, kind of go down the list. The next phone is we got the Nokia, and it was like a little brick phone. It wasn't huge, but it was just this, it looked like a handset you'd have on a home phone, system, if you still have a home landline system. But we got that, and that was like, wow, you can carry that around with you and put it in your pocket. And again, all you were doing was making phone calls, though.
They use those to test nuclear strikes.
Yeah, these are the ones.
Those are the
they're indestructible. But you could only talk on them. You really could. You couldn't text. You couldn't do. Look on the internet. Again, there really wasn't an internet yet. I don't think until or a little bit later in the 90s, as far as I remember. And then there was just a succession of phones. And then I got this.
You said a PDA, right?
I did have
PDA.
That. Yeah, and
personal data assistant.
On your phones now, you can enter everything. You have a calendar. You have all your list of everybody, your friends, and everybody you call and email and all that. But back then, you didn't have that. You couldn't put that on your phone. I had something called a PDA, and it was this little electronic gadget. It looked sort of like a cell phone, only didn't make any calls. It was just a little bitty computer, and you could have your calendar on it and your list of all your people and your friends and whoever you wanted to call. And if you needed to enter a number, well, you'd enter it on that, and then you'd have to pull out your cell phone and look at the PDA, and you'd have to dial it off.
Double down on it. So one in each hand.
And there were no cameras on these phones. Yeah. So if you wanted to take a picture, well, you had to have a camera.
You had like 10 different accessories for every occasion, right?
one megabyte pixel camera. And
yeah,
it would take a real fuzzy picture too. So you had all this stuff. So and now of course they roll the phone into everything. It's it's everything you ever need. A video.
Listen, man, if I can't make toast on my phone, I'm not going to buy the next edition. I'm not going to buy that phone.
Yeah, so I mean there was that was in about 1990, and I think I got those were all just cell phones, and then
what about Mom's BlackBerry? Remember you were talking about how BlackBerries were big in the business world.
That was a bit. I don't. If you've never heard of a BlackBerry, it's just a smaller, but it's got this actual keypad on it. Yeah. And you could. That was back probably in the late 90s. She got that, and also what were big back then were these flip phones called Razors. Motorola Razor. If you had one of those, you were on the cutting edge of coolness. But again, you weren't texting. All you were doing was talking. You couldn't take pictures. You couldn't take videos. But it was still a cool phone.
You're just banging rocks together.
I don't think I got my first cell phone till it was probably early 2000s, I think. And then even then you weren't doing a lot of internet on it. You were doing some texting, but you had everything there. You had a phone with I think I had a Samsung Galaxy or something like that. But you could take a picture, you could text, you could do the internet, and that was so. It was about 10 years before I was able to get a smartphone, and now here we are back up to that.
Do everything, yeah. So, I remember watching. I can't remember. It was a couple months ago. I saw a video of the launch of the first iPhone.
Oh yeah.
And people were freaking out, but they would freak out a lot more if they knew exactly. Because like mankind, we love our tools, right? You carry around a hammer back in like 1400s to like chisel statues or whatever the heck you do then. Now it's like if you don't have your phone with you, it's like you're missing a limb.
Well, your heart stops beating for a second when you go to my phone. I mean, I do it.
the veins bulge and you use your, where's my phone?
You know, and I mean, I'm not even on social media like a lot of people are.
Let's be real, Dad, I'm not either.
Yeah, you know, but I mean, if
Such
you
an
are,
obligation.
Yeah,
I don't feel like it.
I use it a lot for other than social media, but yeah, so it was. It's changed a lot, and you just take it for granted. You know, now back then, you know, it was just like, wow, I can make a phone call without going somewhere.
Oh yeah,
you know, being in my car,
living in the future.
And now, you know, people just it's part of your. It's part of you. Your phone is part of you. So yeah. So that was one thing. But another thing, you know, I was thinking about is too on your phone you have GPS. You know, if you want to go somewhere, you just enter it on your phone, and then it pop the maps pop up, and it tells you how to go there, and you don't have to worry about it.
I don't know anything. I don't know the names of half the streets I drive past. I have not thought about that in forever.
Yeah.
I just punch it in and go.
Well,
I don't have
you
to
still
think.
know. Well, yeah, you started driving, but you know, anybody just starting nowadays, they don't even know any different. But a lot of older people, you had to get out. You had to get a map out, and you know now you can't look at your phone when you're driving. But back then, you'd have a big map undone in your car. It was crazy to think about that. You're supposed to stop and then figure out, or the only thing you could do online is go to MapQuest and print out directions. But that was still like a pain. But now GPS is just, you don't even think about it. You just enter it and go. You don't even have to type it in. Sometimes you can just say it in.
Science fiction.
It's sorcery. I don't
love
understand, but it was a giant deal in the business world too.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
I can't wait till we can just upload the information straight to our brains. You know,
blink your eyes.
I want to get my eyeball computer so I can just like look at it. Watch a movie while I'm sitting in somewhere bored, right?
Oh yeah,
my eyes.
Yeah, it's like now people don't. A lot of kids don't know the difference. I mean, you just have a phone. It's like you didn't have a phone. Well, gosh, that's too bad for you.
You got like a Freddie Flintstone car running with your feet, and you got.
Well, we didn't have a Fred Flintstone car, but you know, cars have changed too. But overall, I mean, the phone was this giant. I mean, it's made such a giant difference, and then the GPS has made a giant difference.
Yeah,
too.
wait, dude. So I know. So Molly, you know, we remember Molly. Mm-hmm. She's going to become a pilot, and she says she still has to figure out how to do stuff with like star charts or whatever the heck you use to.
Well, yeah. When I got my pilot's license back in the early '80s, mid '80s, and everything was done. You had to do, and they wanted to teach you how. They didn't have computers and GPS for civilians back then. Now they had GPS for military.
Yeah.
But anyway, you had to learn how to these sectional
kilobytes.
Charts that were as big as the half of this room, and you had a slide rule, and it was. Nowadays, you know, I guess they still teach you how to use all that stuff, but a lot of this stuff is done with computers. You just enter it and it tells you where you're going to fly and how long it's going to take and how much fuel you have. So, I mean, it's made things a lot easier, but it's good to know how to do it the old school way too. Because
I guess when you're flying a several ton hunk of metal, they don't want you to. They need you to have backup plans as well, right?
Gosh, you know, it's been so long. I hadn't flown in a long time, but it was still interesting to know.
I remember your flight briefcase is still stowed away downstairs. I remember I found it right next to your high school yearbook.
Yeah, it's been a long time ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah, but the computer, you know. Gosh, you know, and they always talk about we've got more computing. The computer that went to the moon back in the '60s, you have more computing power in a calculator.
Yeah.
Than you've got a calculator in your phone, but if you have a separate, your calculator is more power than that first computer. And now you can look. We're just the power of computers are just it's going exponentially. It's like
half a century or 50 years, and it's like. Giant upgrade. I can't wait for the next 50 years.
It's hard to figure that, you know. But yeah, the phone is just, I mean, it's great for anybody. Business especially, but socially, you know. Now, I don't even think, you don't even have to go see your friends. You just get online with them and play games or.
I mean, yeah, like, you know what died out? Malls, right? Remember that one time we went to the mall to get a prom suit or something for me?
That's
totally
the only
dead.
time you've ever been to one.
Basically, I mean, come on. Yeah. I remember we went to go try out like samples of pretzels, and they're like, "Here, take all of our pretzels. Please, just stay a minute more." I was like,
"Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame."
Because nowadays, like, what do I do with my friends? I see movies. I go to the forum and like hang around and and look at GameStop and Barnes and Noble.
Christmas
which is,
shopping.
you know what? I'm so glad Barnes and Noble is still super popular. Books are still popular, which I'm glad, because I go into Barnes and Noble and we just ogle at all the different books.
You don't use it, but that's another thing is you can read a book on your cell phone or your iPad.
Okay, that's right.
We didn't talk about
Kindle.
iPads yet, but the
Kindle
Kindle,
app.
yeah. But you like a physical book.
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple on my bed right now. I'm reading.
I like a book too, but going back to that, the malls. But now, I mean, I can't remember the last time I went Christmas shopping in a store. Everything is done on Amazon.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I just click, and
Didn't Amazon buy out Whole Foods or something?
Yeah.
Is that right?
They wanted to get in the grocery
I want a
business.
drone delivery of like a gallon of milk to my mouth.
I know.
I want food drone delivered directly into my stomach.
I haven't figured out what to buy yet to get a drone delivery though. I don't know. I don't know if they're delivering to the suburbia Atlanta yet, but if they ever do, I'll be right there ready to take it off of it.
You think that would be the first place they try, because it's a nice open flight path right up to the doorstep, which isn't crowded by all. So I don't think they're going to be doing that in urban centers, right?
I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're
crazy.
working on all that stuff. And talking about phones and GPS, but I mentioned something a second ago, the iPad. I remember I got my iPad probably. I think I've had it like 5 or 6 years. They were out before that, but I just couldn't. I was like, wow, this is really neat. This little iPad, and you can do so much on it. And you've got an iPad Mini that you.
I use it all the time. I carry it around with me.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm waiting for something to load, or if I'm getting water or something, I'm looking at something, right?
Yeah, I just think it's that's my only Apple product. I don't have an Apple phone, an iPhone, but I like it. I think
PC
it's pretty
people.
neat. Yeah, I mean, I think in school a lot of people still use laptops, obviously, but iPads, they're everywhere too. So that's something I would. If somebody showed me that back in the mid '80s, I'd have thinking it was alien technology.
You know what bothers me? Some of colleges are. I remember hearing stories about colleges banning laptops in class because kids weren't focusing or something.
They were playing something.
Which obviously kids aren't going to focus. Some kids aren't. But I mean that is terrible, because I remember I was pen and paper dad up until high school, and then Wesleyan had standard issue laptops, right?
Yeah.
And that was a game changer. I don't have to carry on like a million books in my backpack.
I think it was a good thing.
Everything was super organized. Used OneNote. Finally got the hang of OneNote, and that was great. We were allowed to type out papers.
Right.
Oh,
and that was
a huge
that was
thing. I
just
could
like
hammer
about
out a
4 years
paper in
ago.
like an hour. It was great.
Yeah, you had back when you were about 4 years ago.
I can't imagine writing the papers I write now with my hand.
That's all
my
we had.
hand,
I had
my
to pay
fingers
somebody,
would rot off my hand.
In college, I would have to pay somebody to type my papers.
Yeah,
I would write them out, but then you'd have to have them typed, and I typed okay, but somebody else could type it 3 times as fast as me. So now it's like it's just crazy. Just the computers everywhere you turn now. They're in appliances, they're in your car, obviously they're everywhere. And back when I first became aware, you showed me some of this stuff. I was going, man, did the aliens land and give us that technology? So it sounds funny, but it's true.
What about the internet? Because I know there's I forget what it was called, but there's an earlier version of the internet that was very I don't know. It was like late 90s.
We used to call it. We didn't call it the internet. It was called the web.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the interweb. It's a
Web
joke
of
now, but it
information.
was the web, the World Wide Web. That was the www on your. Now you don't have to type that on most things.
Now what does HTTPS mean?
I can't tell you that.
Hyper transfer something per. I don't know. It was something with hyper.
But anyway, it was one of those deals. So, but we, and I remember backing up a few steps. Your mom and I had to. We saved up to buy our first computer when we got married because it was so expensive. Good investment.
It was a
desktop.
What was it? Give me the specs.
I can't tell you the specs, but it was a gate. It was a gateway. Gateway, and it was like $3,000, and it was probably and you had to dial up modem. We didn't talk about this yet, but you didn't have like the constant. If you wanted to get on the internet, you had to basically plug it into your phone, so you couldn't make a phone call on your home landline phone. You had that plugged in, and it would go beep beep beep.
Did you know every time it does that is unique? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, I changed it every time.
So, and it was really slow. So you weren't on there playing
torture.
games. You were on there basically just messing around. They had some news sites, and it wasn't anything.
Would you look at the news sites? Like, did you use it regularly?
Usually.
I mean, I know that you can't make phone calls when you do it, so it wasn't that common.
You wouldn't sit on the. You wouldn't just go get on it.
But would you get on every day or two and like?
You would go up there for a while and check some things out, and I'm guessing. Yeah, we had email, but it wasn't like it was now. You didn't have like you'd had a few pieces here, or a few emails, and it was just slow, and you couldn't play games. But it served its purpose, and and then obviously prices started coming down on computers because more and more people bought them. But it was just funny. It's funny to think about it then. So but now talking about that. In the internet, you stream. You don't really watch TV.
Oh, heck no. You crazy? Why would you drop all the cash on TV when you can just use the internet?
And you watch what you want by, you stream stuff. And, because, so we actually just, we used to have cable, and it was very expensive, and now we got rid of it, and we just,
Because, like, cable is, let's be real, compared to what we got now, it's a rip, right? How many channels are you not going to watch?
Oh, no. We had Comcast,
hundreds and hundreds.
We had them for years, and...
You watch, like, 5 channels.
You and Ethan don't watch any TV.
Oh, no.
I don't think Ethan ever watches anything.
Wow.
Except YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to... It rots your brain, Dad. Come on now. You're grounded, right? Stop watching TV.
And you stream it on your iPad, so you're not even watching it on a real TV.
If I want to find I'll be talking with my friends, or I'll be talking with people online, and something will catch on, something will become popular, or maybe it's within my niche taste, and I could just look it up directly. Why would I sit down and like wait till 8 o'clock? And chances are it's not even on TV.
No,
it's not even included in the package.
I agree.
So I could just go to whatever streams it and subscribe to that for like $4.
Oh yeah. So streaming everything, and then if you want to watch something, Netflix is what we all use. You can just go there and pull out whatever you want.
Yeah,
series or comedy.
It doesn't have everything.
But it's got a lot. But I've got something called Amazon Prime. So it's regular TV.
You know what's funny? I was talking about this. We actually mentioned this on the podcast, Benjamin and I, and it was TV and cable. So only old people still have it because they don't know how to switch yet. So
I switch. So I'm not in that category.
Yeah, they're like the newspapers, right? They're desperately trying to keep everyone, and they're trying to break into the internet scene, right? But YouTube and Amazon Prime, Netflix, they're trying to become a prevalent thing on TV, which is on like the physical TV. So they're trying to break into the TV scene. TV's trying to break into the internet scene, and it's like a wacky sitcom episode that's not going to end well for cable television.
In network TV, I don't see how they're staying around because it's just like young people don't take the newspaper anymore. I mean, we don't even take the newspaper.
Like I'm going to use that to let my dog poop on it. I'm not going to read it.
You used to see it on Sunday was a big deal because it was a big issue and all this, and now it's like print is dead. Print is dead. Even when's the last time you looked at a magazine? Probably never.
Game Informer.
Because it happened to come for free.
And they had a little sticker on it, the latest one that said your subscription is we're gonna stop sending these. And I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna read them. Oh right. You ramble. I gotta go get the. Yeah, you're right. I gotta go get the bird. You keep on. Okay. You talk to the masses.
Okay. So anyway, So Alex and I were talking about a lot of things. It was kind of funny just talking about technology and old folks. Old folks are, what technologies they have now, and a lot of older people, a lot older than me, they don't want to use a cell phone or they don't want to use email, and it's just crazy. It makes life a lot easier now. But another thing is too, to get off your cell phones. A lot of kids, that's all they do. They just stare at their cell phone all the day, and even at home, you sit down to dinner and people have their cell phones out. So, it's a shame. You need to have a little discipline on your cell phone. I'm not trying to sound like an old geezer, but I think in general, cell phones definitely have their place. But overall, it's nice if you can sit down, talk to each other. Alex is back now, so I can quit rambling.
What are you talking about?
Just talking about never putting your cell phone down. Not you, but just in general, kids. Everybody's looking down.
No, I don't know, because it's such a mundane thing nowadays. Like, you can just check. You can check if you've had any notifications or whatever. But hanging out with my friends, I've never experienced people getting sucked into their phone or
but
something.
you've seen it, though. You've seen where people have just sat there. And
mainly little kids who, like, don't want to talk. Like, I don't want to make fun of Ethan, but his car ride was probably the carpool, right? That was a total silence, right?
We had a carpool when Ethan was just recently going to school, and there was a couple of 3 kids that we got, and they get in. It was like a morgue. It was like a hearse. I called it the hearse because nobody would talk, and everybody just sits there looking at their phones, and it was silent.
I rode in there once because we had to, like, it didn't work out very well, so the carpool had to come around and pick me up. Man, I tried to. I spiced things up. I saved the day, right?
Yeah, you did.
And
but that one day, but it was the rest of the days that were just like you were. It's like we were delivering the cadavers to the morgue because it was so quiet. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. In general, cell phones are fine. They're great. I love them. It's just nice if occasionally, people talk about sitting down to a family dinner and nobody has their phone there. Now, we haven't had that problem, but I mean, some people.
It's because we're fun people, Dad.
That's probably
because the conversations are fun.
Probably a lot superior. But anyway, that's what I was just talking about.
I don't blame Ethan though. Middle school sucked. I don't know what school's like back then, but nowadays it's like I don't know. There's nothing passionate anymore. You just work, and then you have like 2 extracurriculars where you're at school until 10 o'clock. Remember that. But I don't know. Everything's so emasculating now. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't do any hard work. It's unsatisfying. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just sitting there at a desk the whole time, and then I come home, and then it's just the same thing again the next day. You got in tons of fights, right, Dad?
Tons of fights?
Yeah.
Oh,
come on. Tell me give me the juice.
No, there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah, come on. I saw that picture of you. You were jacked. You don't get that jacked unless you beat people up.
That's not true, but listen. It was just, there was no difference. Middle school's a tough time anyway. And, I'm not talking about any fights. That's ridiculous. That's not going to work.
So you've never gotten in a fight?
No, I didn't say that. I just said it's a much kinder, more technology-driven world, and we don't need to fight. We just send a mean text. That's bullying, so you got to be careful there. So.
Yeah, seriously.
You got to be careful there.
If you got nothing, you're making these things. You can say hater words.
I'm trying to see what else technology.
This is hardly formal, Dad. We can talk about whatever. Well, tell me about high school. Tell me about college. Tell me about college, because I'm about to go to college.
College is definitely, you don't have your parents downstairs.
But it's different. It's going to be different nowadays, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. But you're still, you get a lot of people, and what you'll experience is a lot of people you'll find a lot of immature people that get to college and they aren't under their parents' eyes, and they go crazy.
Benjamin, I'm keeping an eye out for you. Okay, I know you're listening, Benjamin.
I think the 2 people that are going to hear this. I think that you see people get every time you go. They're not all people, but they'll get to school, and next thing you know, they're just out of control. They're drinking. They don't go to class. It's like they forget what they're there for, and it's like it's okay to have fun, but that's universal. I think with a lot of people go through that.
I'm pretty sure that happened back in like the 1500s. I don't think it changed.
It hasn't changed, and it's going to probably be something what you'll see. But you just got more freedom. You're up to we're not worried about you.
I mean, I'm pretty free range as it is.
Yeah.
It's amazing I turned out the way I did, actually.
Yeah. Well,
but anyway, I won't have a problem with that.
College is you don't have to go to school all day, which you love.
Yeah.
We've talked about that for a lot of years. You just felt like there was a lot of wasted time in between going to class and getting things done that you needed to get done. You'll love that part of it because you'll go to class.
I like these summer classes I'm taking for extra credits here because I can just knock it out in like an hour, right? Every day, whatever I have to do, and then I'm done.
Well, some people like the fact that they can only do that if they go to a class. You're not like that. You can do what do you need to get done. You can do it online. You can do whatever needs to be done. But a lot of people, they have to go to class to be able to do the work. They couldn't do. I don't think not everybody can do the e-classes.
It's about willpower.
But I love it. I'm glad because they're a lot cheaper too. you're not paying for that classroom space because
oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
a lot different. Yeah,
speaking of future online classes, right? I told you about the digital pat down they gave me for the exam.
No, why don't you tell the people?
I want to tell the fans.
All the people.
Yeah, I'm doing online classes, right? And they have a proctored midterm because they can't just trust me because there's a million kids are gonna cheat. If they just gave me a room with no supervision, you know what? I'd probably look up some of the answers. Let's be real. So what they do, they have these I don't know, organizations like ProctorU, where you schedule a time for like $20 or something, and then there's a person who you have to have a webcam, a solid connection, a microphone, and you have to be able to use Flash. And this person watches you take the exam. It's weird. So you pull up this little thing, and then they get total control of your computer. Like they can move your mouse from their computer in like Kentucky or wherever the heck they're at, and then they watch you take the exam, and you can't see them, but they can see you.
Didn't you have to?
And also they have privileges over it. And then they before you take the exam, they have you take the webcam or a mirror or something, and show your room, like your environment. And they're like, okay, show me the walls. Okay, let me see your desk. Now under your desk and the ceiling, and then they have you show where your phone is. Like they show it to them, and then where it's gonna be. And I just kind of flashed on my phone and threw it on my bed.
Tell them about when Griffin actually interrupted
oh
by
my
accident.
God! I put a piece of paper over my doorknob that says "Taking exam, do not enter," and I underlined it like 10 times to make sure do not enter. And then Griffin reads it, and then he lifts it up, and then enters my room, and you're not allowed to, like. I remember, they're super serious about all of it. They're really serious about it. I remember I opened the thing for my art class, and it was I saw a question, and I went, oh God, this is gonna be a slaughter. And they told me you can't talk during the exam. I was just speaking to myself. So Griffin comes in, and he's like, sorry Alex, I just need to get through to Ethan's room because his door is locked. And I'm like, Griffin, you can't be here. Someone is watching me taking the exam. I'm currently taking. He's like, yeah, I know you're trying to work really hard, but I just gotta come through. Sorry, bro. And I'm like, Griffin, I'm going to be thrown out. I'm going to be digitally thrown out.
Did they say something to you during this?
They were like, they were like, who are you talking to? I was like, it's my brother. I told him not to come in. The proctor was cool about it. She understood. Yeah, they're all very nice.
But you probably get one chance, and then the next time they figure, you know what, you can't do this today.
If people keep on coming in, I'd imagine she'd say something. It was just once.
But that's technology. You can take you're taking a test, and they are watching every move you make.
Yeah.
They know what you're doing.
It's pretty nuts.
So we never had that.
You were laughing because you were thinking about because you were laughing at all the methods of cheating you can imagine. Because you were like, I'm just thinking about this question. Your eyes wander up to the wall every question, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was like you had a sheet of paper behind the camera, but I mean they can watch you and say, "What are you looking at back there?" I mean it's
kind of creepy. But
somebody, if they wanted to cheat it bad enough, they probably could. But if you're an honest person, it's just to keep the honest people honest. That's what I think. So it's just something different. But yeah, so that's a big deal. But college in itself, you're going to be in class, probably less than, depending on how many classes you're taking, just a couple of 3 hours a day. And the rest of the time, you're going to have downtime. But it'd be nice to find a nice little college job.
Oh yeah, I was asking about that when we toured that one.
Yeah. So just things like that. But then most of the time, you're on your own.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to cook some food and comb your own hair.
Comb my own hair.
You'll be fine, but it's just a lot more freedom. I think you'll love it. You'll love it. Yeah, Mom will come if she needed to.
Oh my gosh, she would.
She'll post your picture on the face.
You guys are like an arm's length away though, because I'm going to be going in Georgia to school.
You're just going to be about an hour away, which is nice, but it'll be fun.
For the record, for everyone wondering about Benjamin and I, we're going to be like right around the corner. He's at the UGA dorms, and I'm going to be living right next to that.
Yeah, so it'll be fun.
He's probably going to move in with me past the first year, I'd imagine.
Hopefully that'll work out.
Worry about it later.
But yeah, you're going to like college because it's a lot more. you're on your own. You're an adult. They treat you like an
Ready.
adult, and if you cheat, you get adult treated too.
Yeah.
Not that you're going to, but just in general. But you got to show up on time. Get up on time, show up on time, do it yourself, but that's okay. It's a good thing.
You said that colleges used to be way easier to get into.
Yeah, well,
especially UGA.
Well, in Georgia now they've got the Hope Scholarship, which is funded off of the lottery, the Georgia lottery, and now it's expanded to where if you've got a B average, basically they'll pay up to over half your tuition. I mean, that doesn't include places to live and eat and your books and all, but the tuition is just to take. And it opened up college for a ton more people, and when it did that, all of a sudden the grade point averages started going up, and it's really tough to get into some of these schools. And
super competitive.
It's very competitive as a freshman to get in. But but now it's good because half of your tuition is going to get paid. And and it's not just at Georgia, but it's any school in Georgia. It works that way, and it's a good deal because it helps out a lot of people.
Have you ever thought? Did you ever study abroad or think about it? Probably not.
No. You didn't think about it.
If you could, where would it be? Come on.
I was going to study abroad. I guess it'd be Europe somewhere.
Europe.
Or maybe Australia. I always want to go to Australia.
Really?
That's a long way from home. But if you didn't have any constraints, probably Europe. Probably Europe because it's it's very Americanized.
But Europe has a lot of countries.
That's true. That's pretty broad. I'd want to go somewhere where they speak English at least.
You think so?
Yeah, probably because I don't speak any foreign.
All right. What if the language barrier was not an issue? What if you spoke all languages and you can go anywhere?
Italy. I like
Italy, really, yeah.
I've been to Italy, and I thought the people were so nice.
Tell them the story about the discotheque.
No, we don't need to hear it.
Okay, fine.
That's nothing bad. It's boring. But anyway, that was a long time ago. But yeah, I probably just go to Italy. But some people spoke English, but a lot of people didn't. But I just thought it'd be fascinating. Now that I'm my age, but back when I was in my 20s or going to college, that would have been interesting to go to school and actually go. Yeah, but now when you in college, you're paying. I mean, unless you're on full scholarship for whatever, you're paying for schooling. You're paying to live there. You're paying for this and that, and it's a lot different. You hear the stories of people not getting up going to class. It's like, really?
You guys are crazy.
Why don't you just come home and go to work then?
Yeah.
Find your own place to live. I mean, it sounds dad-like, but that's it's like when you go to college, and now you want to have a good life. So if you get a good education, it's blah 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 sometimes, but that's what it is.
Golden nugget.
Get
wisdom.
Get a good education, do well, and go out and start your own life. Get off the mom and dad payroll.
You should be a motivational speaker. This is good.
Oh yeah, I'm
this
sure
that's good.
People are going, oh my God, where's he been all my life? I'm going to go and listen to him talk some more.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think you're going to love college. You're built for college, Alex. I think you're going to love it, and you're going to feel like you've all of a sudden grown up, and they're not,
God, yes,
telling you to get in line and be quiet.
Line leader.
Watch, what's that? There's a hair growing out of your face.
Oh, jeez.
Alex has a full beard now.
I know you guys miss my clean-shaven sound, the sound of my cleanly shaven face on the podcast, but now it's grizzled and veteran. I look like I've been trapped in the wild.
He looks like he's 30 years old now with his beard.
Yeah.
That's okay. But yeah, so in a nutshell, college is good. You'll like it.
Good. I got another question about what about video games? Because I'm big into that, that. But you played World of Warcraft a lot.
Well, I go back to Pong on Atari, actually.
Go all the way back. Give me the life story.
My dad, Alex's grandfather, bought an Atari 2600 back when we were probably, I don't know. I was 12 or 13. It came out, and we just thought we would spend hours, my friends and I, playing in our basement and just these little football games, and they were so just basic, but we would spend hours playing these games.
Good.
And you just, and the little controllers, and then, then it kind of ramped up from there, and then I can't remember the names of the games we played, but then we got to computer games back way past that. But you'd have to be on these, they were your connection to be able to play against somebody It's not like it is now. It was basically over a dial-up modem, and it was really choppy and slow and annoying. And
lag is bad nowadays. It's probably trash.
You would
then.
never even recognize it. But and then I started playing games.
You said you tried D&D like once, right?
Yeah, I tried D&D back in high school, and it's just I was busy. I mean, I was playing sports, and it takes time to play D&D.
It takes a lot of time. I don't blame you.
I mean, it was fun.
Mom couldn't because it was for the devil.
Oh gosh,
because
that wasn't my problem. But
yeah,
mom wasn't able
you just
to
didn't have the time.
Yeah, I knew what it was, but I didn't have the time to play much of it.
It's too bad.
Yeah, and then Alex was saying, then I started playing. I played World of Warcraft online back in the early 2000s.
Mom made you choose between World of Warcraft and her. Is that right?
She said I was spending too much time on World of Warcraft. And I know I probably was. I'd be up there, and I said, I'm going to be there in a minute. And 3 hours later, I was not there. And, so I think I gave it up back in mid-2000s.
But you relapsed recently. With full approval, because Ethan wanted you to play it, and then I had just gotten it with Benjamin. Yeah. And then Mom was like, sure, it'll be a bonding activity.
And we haven't played together yet.
We haven't played together. It's not my usual genre. But
it's definitely something different.
You said it became way easier. You said it's way easier to play now.
It would take you months to get to level 60. Or it could take you half a year to get to level 60. You just couldn't get to it.
People miss that, right? They're bringing back legacy servers for the first.
The big boss, and then you kill him in like 12 seconds.
Because what happened?
What happened?
I watched a couple videos about it. Infamous players. Changes through the years or whatever, and they tried to make it because it was the most popular one, which means that it had the most potential to go mainstream. So they tried to make it as easy as possible for anyone coming in. So they introduced stuff like the raid finder or whatever, where you can just immediately find a group. And a lot of people thought it lost a lot of its community because it used to be you had to connect, you had to look up, you had to find a group, you'd have to cooperate with them. But now it's just like matchmaking.
Thing was, back then you get a quest and you'd find your way to it. So
that's a big problem nowadays.
You couldn't just like on the new version, which is nice and convenient. It's got an arrow. And basically, it tells you where to go, and you know where to go, and all this stuff. But back then, it was like, you got to go get this ball from this guy that lives in the mountains. And it was like, well, there were so many mountains, and you'd have to like dig into it and figure out where to go. That's what would take time.
Exciting. That's kind of exciting because I don't think you understand. I don't think you know the extent of that. Because what happens is, for the past decade, there's been this giant thing where they have you. They treat you like a kid, and they're like, okay. Go to this point. Now go to this point. All right, here's an arrow telling you to go to this objective. So
it's a lot different now.
And there's this kind of people kind of got tired of it. And even though there's still you can still very easily open up a map or something. Some games have kind of dropped that. You have the option to turn that stuff off. You won't believe this, but the most recent Zelda, the open world one, Breath of the Wild. Mm-hmm. It has these markers on the map you can do, but you can turn those off, and every single quest or whatever that you get has directions where it says, go left over at the thing and do that. And a lot of people like playing just going on the directions because it's a lot more exploration.
Everything's different on World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
The new version. It just about holds your hand.
Yeah, really.
And a lot of the stuff then, you had to have a group to do, but now you can just solo it. Which means you can do it by yourself, but some stuff still you gotta have a group. But it's not bad, but it's just you move so quick.
But if you want a taste of that pureness, maybe you could look back in once they release the legacy servers. Ethan's very interested in those.
Where to get from level 1 to 10 could take you weeks.
It's crazy.
It takes so long. Which is not a bad thing. It just depends on what you're looking for. A lot of people like to move along and get instant gratification and all this, but it's a game. It's a game.
You play such dad games. You played World of Tanks, right?
World of Ice. World of Glacial Ice Movement.
World of Salt. You're so angry.
That's because the
hated
people
it.
on there.
Why did you play it? You hated it.
I don't know. But you'd be on there grinding your way to get a good tank, and it'd take you like months, and then some guy gets on there and buys everything, and it kills you in a second.
Benjamin talked about he played it once. He used to play it a little bit, and he played the French tanks exclusively because he's big into like Napoleon and stuff. But I guess you guys are just history buffs. But Yeah, why? Well, have you
I don't
ever
know.
been
It was
interested
just- it was-
in like the War Thunder or the other
Not
ones with
really.
like
It was
joint
just
operation?
the tanks, and it was easy to get on and get going on, and you
That's
just
true.
shoot at that guy, and maybe you won't get blown
Stay
up.
away from free-to-play titles from now on, Dad. I worry about you. You know what bothers me? That Dead Space, remember? I keep on telling you that it drives me crazy. You played Dead Space right up until just before the final confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, you got rid of the invincible enemy that follows you around, and then you saved and quit so you could continue later, and you were right in front of the doorway that brings you to the final boss. And then you stopped playing. You just never picked it up again. That drives me crazy.
Wow.
Did you ever wonder about what happens?
I don't know.
Can I tell you?
Yeah, you can tell me.
So you're trying to find your dead girlfriend in your mind, right? Because it's Dead Space. And you go through, and the military general that shoots you in the hand with a javelin, and then and it seems like he's going to kill you. It's a javelin gun. It seems like he's going to kill you. You kill him, and then your girlfriend's all like, who you finally accepted, her ghost or whatever. She's like, she totally betrays you, and you have a battle in the center of your mind. You're on like this like weird rock that represents your mind,
right,
with all these weird little shadows jumping at you, and if she touches you, she grabs you, grabs you and screams in your face, and it's over. But you beat her. It destroys the marker because like you're linked with the marker or whatever. And then what's funny is your guy slinks to his knees because even though you beat it, you're still in this space station that's exploding. So he sinks to his knees and he's like, it's over or whatever. And the credits start rolling. But then like 30 seconds into the credits, you get a call from that character that came from before, and she comes up and saves you.
Wow,
but
that's crazy.
What drove you into it? Was it the sci-fi? Because it's not your usual genre, the horror. I watched you struggle through it on easy.
Yeah, just the sci-fi stuff, I guess.
Sci-fi.
Yeah, pretty much.
You had a cool suit. You had a really cool suit. I don't know if you remember the suit.
I don't think so.
It's with the little like visors across the thing.
I remember that part of it, but I'm not good at remembering some of that stuff.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I mean, it was just the sci-fi version of it, but yeah. Overall, games are just. I like to do that. I'm not hardcore. I just get on there and pedal around
Casual.
for a little bit, casual for a little while, and then move along in something else. I mean, if I was a lot younger, but I would have eaten it all up. It would have been great. It's just I got so much going on now as you get older. But some people don't. They play it all the time. But yeah. So it's just a lot different now. So why don't you play on a laptop? Why don't you get a laptop?
Why don't I get a laptop? Because they're so gimmicky. Like, what are you gonna play games on the subway or something? Like, what are you gonna do with that? And the structure itself, having it be smaller and it has to fold. Just the build possibilities are really small. You can't modify laptops. You can't mix and match stuff because it has to fit in this tiny little case.
Right.
So it's very specialized. And Ethan was like, Ethan used to think it was so cool because you can bring it wherever, but it's not going to be as good as a desktop computer you can make. And it's
liquid cool desktop that he has.
Liquid cool.
He does. He has a
I know. I just got a little fan. It's not.
But
totally
we bought
necessary.
it used. He didn't build his.
Yeah,
though.
he bought it
built
used.
Yours.
Yeah.
And you've just upgraded it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the CPU.
That's fine.
Graduation. Thank you very much. But I don't know. It's just so stupid. I really don't think it's. They try to lure you in with like neon with the LED lights and the sponsored by Razer, but it's stupid.
Yeah, to play games on a laptop's not the way to go. Laptops are, if you're going to go to school or business, then just do business or school work on them if you carry them to class. But
I'm helping Benjamin make his on a budget.
I think it's better to have a desktop.
It's like mixing and matching pieces on a car. It's like that.
The desktop and the iPad are all you need now.
Honestly.
Got that TV over there that you hardly use except when you play PS4.
PS4, come on now. It's great.
Well, you'll take that. You can take that.
I was playing with Benjamin. We watch movies on it, and then we play it.
Yeah, you can stream movies if you want to watch it on there. So
yeah, it's pretty good.
That works pretty good. But so anyway, that's technology with Dad.
That's technology with Dad. Technology with Tech Dad.
I can't really think of anything else.
He was wearing cargo shorts and a collared shirt right now.
Some of us wore cargo shorts too and didn't realize it.
Okay.
We were talking bad about it.
On Father's Day, we went to go watch the Mr. Rogers movie. Great movie, great documentary. I I was making fun of Dad's cargo shorts, but then mid-sentence I was like, wait a minute. I
right.
looked down and I saw I was wearing cargo shorts. That was...
If you'd have had on some Crocs, it would have been even better.
I wasn't wearing... What kind of shirt was I wearing? I was wearing like a golf shirt too. I basically I cosplayed Dad for Father's Day.
I
looked just like Dad. It was uncanny.
I looked like, okay, that's somebody's dad. Alex looked like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Well, what happened to him? Is that his ode to his dad?
Oh,
that's
man.
Funny. But yeah, so.
I'm going to pretend that was on purpose. But, yeah, so that's it. Very special episode. Can you believe you just talked for 55 minutes with your son?
I'm going to have to go take a nap now. Gosh, I'm worn out. But thank you for having me. Hopefully I didn't bore anybody, but
thank you very much for watching. Dad?
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Copy that.
And I'll play some dad-son music. You know the type.
And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time.